Okay, Manchester City have avoided a potential cup shock, overcoming Cheltenham 3-1, although they were 1-0 down for a good 20 minutes in the second half. 10 changes made by Guardiola. I think that was a bit excessive. Yes, I understand squad rotation and De Bruyne being injured and obviously rotating because of injury, but 10 changes I think was a bit excessive and it nearly backfired. The first half, yes, they had more possession, they created the better chances. Griffiths in goal for Cheltenham had an outstanding display today. I could see him as much like um, in the Plymouth Argyle game. I can see him being picked up by a bigger club at a higher level in a couple of years' time because he pulled off some brilliant saves in both halves. Play was stopped on 40 minutes because of fireworks outside the ground, so some idiot set them off, which delayed play for 6 minutes. The best chance fell to Mendy, cleared off the line by Tozer, a former Newcastle United centre-back. It makes you wonder why Newcastle United let him go, because he had an outstanding game. He just ran out of legs by the end, but he had an outstanding game, led by example. Crucial tackles and his long throws created chaos in the Man City defence throughout the game. At half-time, it's 0-0, and the changes that Guardiola made, the amount of changes really disrupted the flow. A lot of misplaced passes. They were losing 50-50 battles. They were being physically roughed up. They didn't like the physical style of play that Cheltenham in defence had. And Cheltenham can play going forward. They're not just hoof it long kind of side. They can play in behind. They can play the intricate passes. They play well on the counter attack. And Alfie May was their best attacking threat going forward. But his goal comes from a Tozer long throw, which Man City just failed to deal with completely. Couldn't defend it, and he finishes a couple of yards out, smashes it into the roof of the net, and Man City looked a bit lost, completely lost. Now Guardiola starts bringing on the changes like Gundogan and Torres and Diaz, and he starts bringing in some more first-team regulars onto the field. But at 1-0, Mahrez had a chance to equalise. Gabriel Jesus, just before Cheltenham scored, hit the post, so they could have been leading this game rather than chasing this game, could Manchester City. Now, Foden was City's best player. He created chances and he scored the first goal in 80 minutes for Man City that equalised. But it took them 80 minutes to get really going. Cheltenham had them chasing the game for 20 minutes. I don't think Guardiola would have thought that would have happened. After 80 minutes, City just turned up the pace on the ball, the movement. Before Foden scores, they were too slow and methodical in possession. It's a well-known fact. You can have loads of possession, but if you do nothing with it, then it's pointless having it. They were having possession for possession's sake. They weren't quick enough on the ball and quick enough without the ball in movement. Foden scores, that changes things. Gabriel Jesus scores 3 minutes later. That makes up for him hitting the post 25 minutes before, makes it 2-1. And then finally, Ferran Torres scores in added time, 90 plus 3, which makes it look a much more unbalanced result because Cheltenham had really challenged Man City both physically, tactically they'd set up to strangle the midfield somewhat. They played with three at the back and they packed the midfield, which frustrated City as well. But City were, I wouldn't say negative in their play, but they were too slow in their build-up play. They allowed Cheltenham to harass them, press them, rough them up a bit. Play a League Two style of football because some of the challenges that went in you wouldn't see in the Premier League, and I don't think they were really expecting that kind of physicality or weren't used to that kind of physicality. And this could have been a massive banana skin. From what I've seen from like Foden, yeah, he's definitely developing really really well. Some of the other youngsters a bit hit and miss. Some of the other youngsters that played. And Laporte coming back from injury, he got booked for dissent. He looked a bit exposed. So there are some defensive concerns, I think, for Man City going forward. I don't think they are as competent defensively as they were when Vincent Kompany and Di Michaelis with the centre-back pairing. That's my personal opinion. Yes, Kompany's moved on, Di Michaelis has moved on. That was bound to happen, but they don't look as defensively sound, be it positionally or physically or with communication, than they did before. So if they were playing this game a couple of seasons ago, and they made a lot of changes, you would have Di Michaelis or Kompany in that back line to guide the younger players around. They didn't have that today. Laporte coming back to fitness, but he wasn't dominating as centre-back. He wasn't dominating. Alfie May's a lot smaller than him and ran him ragged today. So going forward, there are a few concerns there if you're a Man City fan defensively, but they get through to the next round. And they got West Brom as their next Premier League game. They've rested some players, but they were missing De Bruyne as well today. That was a key miss. His creativity, his passing. So Foden has had to drop into midfield off the wing. Played very, very well. So it's interesting watching Foden's development, but Cheltenham Town can be very proud of their efforts, and they could have won this game. If Alfie May scores, I think 5-10 minutes later, I don't think Man City, the way they were playing, would have had the time to turn things around. But they could have been 1-0 up at half time if Mendy's shot hadn't been cleared off the line by Tozer. But again, that's a hindsight thing. With the amount of possession that City had, they should have been ahead. The amount of chances they were creating, but they were too methodical and too slow in possession, and that's going to be annoying for Guardiola. I think he would expect them to pass and move with a bit more pace and energy. But overall, a pretty entertaining FA Cup tie, and it sets us up very well tomorrow for Chelsea and Luton, and Manchester United and Liverpool, the 2 televised games tomorrow, which I will be watching and reporting on. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts below, and I will have some more videos for you very, very soon.